want to start directly with that or what?
Yeah, start right here.
Yeah, we are live on the YouTube.
Great. Welcome, YouTube. Welcome, world. Welcome to the digital metaverse space. This is the metaverse, where you can have an experiential version of the internet. So I'll take you guys through the process that was done before this. You select Guardian, and I'm able to select the floor, okay? And then I can define the play area. Basically draw out everything that is not in the, redraw. Got to make sure the floor is set correctly. Confirm. Drawing out the boundary. This thing's freaking out a little bit. Continue. And then you confirm that you're not going to hit anything when you have your boundary. Why is it panicking? All right, let's try that one last time. And then this is the space that you get to exist within. No, that didn't work properly. Okay, that is the floor. Of course, now it doesn't want to work properly, but that's okay. Welcome to the metaverse. Half the stuff doesn't work properly. All right. Continue, confirm. And this is what the metaverse looks like when you come into the Meta's home. And we're going to go meditate within the metaverse. Or meditate. This is an app called Tripp, T-R-I-P-P. I mean, you guys can see that already, so. Oh, interesting. This is the universe. And I'm going to select my mood. Great, feel 8. What do I feel? I feel relaxed, calm, inspired.
Welcome to Tripp.
And yes, this is way better on mushrooms, trust me. Huh?
The experience you're about to have is designed to help you be mindfully aware in the present moment. Today's reflection will help to create a peaceful sense of well-being. Breathe with me. Time your breath with the flow. connect with your breath, slowly breathing in and out. When you feel relaxed, look into the light, and we'll let the next phase of our journey begin. As you float through this space, feel the tension leaving your body. Now let's play a short game designed to focus your attention and generate a feeling of flow. Notice how you control the flight of the figures in front of you.
And it's off. Hi guys, I can see you now. I don't know what exactly happened there. Nothing ruins your meditation like the internet shutting off, right? Am I right about that? All right. Internet's done. All right, so welcome to the metaverse where half the things don't work properly. Thank you for being here. That's it. See you next week. Please subscribe. Where's my phone? All right, so the idea of that was I wanted to show you what the metaverse can be. Hey guys, welcome in person. Welcome to the free world. That's what the metaverse can be. You can pick up guns in it, you can shoot around in it, you can live in it, you can do crazy stuff in it, you can meditate in it, right? Many of us are terrified of this idea of the metaverse because we think it's this like Facebook-owned place where they will take over the entire world. What we just went into was Facebook-owned. That's the metaverse. That's meta, right? But there's going to be an infinity of these metaverses built by people like us. And we can build ones to meditate, or we can build ones to create violence. Just like the internet has terrorist websites and it has websites of knowledge, the same thing is going to happen across the world. Okay? So today we're going to go through that to really understand, like, how do we understand this in a way that makes sense to us, right? Not just something that are words in a thing. So you've now experienced it. I wish I could take you through that whole meditation because it guides you through beautiful spaces, and you're flying a kite, and then a bird, and then you're guiding a light, and it actually allows me to meditate way better than I can meditate regularly. It takes me about 30 minutes to get into. It takes me about 15 minutes to get into that meditative state to really let go of everything and let the thoughts flow and become nothing. But it takes about 30 minutes to really start to feel it, and it takes about an hour for that effect to really take hold because the human mind, it's constantly running. Whereas in that game, I wasn't thinking. There's no thinking. There's literally nothing required. I'm playing a game. When you're playing a game, you are in the flow state constantly. And within 5 minutes, you get the meditative effect that you would normally get from all this stuff. And I have a brain scanner that I put on that tells me my brain states as you're meditating, and you can tell from that which state you're in, and it puts you into theta state within 5 minutes, okay? So in order for us to understand the metaverse, we need to understand what's the internet. And for the more complex people here, bear with me. This is for beginners. Today's internet is just a bunch of computers connected together. We always say this. The internet, blockchain, all these things are just a bunch of computers connected together in novel ways, right? And the way they're connected together is they're owned by companies. They're owned by Google, owned by Facebook, owned. We don't own anything, right? When they say you'll own nothing, you'll be happy, we basically don't own anything right now anyway, and we're like decently happy. But they're owned by giant corporations, and they control the data, the knowledge, the resources, the money, they control everything. They take our attention and they monetize it. They take the most expensive thing we have, time and energy and attention. Oh, that's outside. Okay, I was like, am I hearing stuff through the speakers? They take our time, energy, and attention, and they monetize it in a way that they get to steal all the value. But what the internet today is a digital space already. It's a digital space because we all live in it. If you're sitting in this room, you are an entrepreneur or a digital nomad who's living in the digital space and in the physical space. We wouldn't be able to do what we can do in the digital space. Now, that digital space is non-local. It doesn't exist anywhere. You can't say it's in the States or it's everywhere. It's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So it's a separate space of existence. When you connect with somebody on Zoom, you're connecting through the channels of that space. It is a new way to connect. Today's internet is a new way to connect. You know, we're connecting with people in ways that we couldn't imagine. You can connect with 1 billion people we're connecting with hundreds and hundreds of people from across the world right now. They're watching us live and they're experiencing this. It's a new way to experience information, right? It's a new way to absorb information into our psyche and into our being. And it's like a giant pipeline hooked up to our conscience that allows us to be able to soak in that information. That's why the people nowadays are more intelligent and more knowledgeable and more conscious and more aware of what's going on around us than ever before, like ever. Our parents, if they were like, how are clouds made? They just go, how are clouds made, Bobby? Bobby goes, I don't fucking know. And they go, oh, well, no, nobody knows how clouds are made. Like, oh, you can go to a library and hook up an encyclopedia or pull out a book where somebody tries to explain to you, I'm not going to a library, man. Forget about it. Let's just not learn that stuff. Whereas nowadays you go, how are clouds made? And somebody will speak back to you. Clouds are made by the evaporation of, right? So that it's a new way for us to absorb that information. But it went through stages, right? We had Web 1.0, which was the old web, before 2004. Just static pages, is read-only, some people call it, where it's stuff that's like a blog, and you go read it, and you absorb the information, and you leave. From 2004 onwards, we came into the space of Web 2. Web 2 was this idea where you're not just reading the internet's reading you, right? The internet started to understand you and take your data and learn about you and see who you are. So it's taking and it's giving. And it's read and write, where now we can go and create things on the internet instead of just taking stuff out of the internet. What it also did is it created platforms where, like, Facebook is the biggest social media company in the world, but they don't make social media. We do, right? Airbnb is the biggest hotelier in the world, but they don't have any real estate. They don't do anything with real estate except for maybe take photos sometimes, but we do. We put the stuff on there, we populate it. It became a thing where we became the product, okay? And when the internet started to read us, it changed elections, it changed societies, it changed human interaction, it changed so much. And now it's being fed into AI and machine learning algorithms that are able to like see what we know way beyond us. They know us way better than we could ever know us, okay? That's the internet that we're experiencing right now. And that's a web where it watches you. You don't watch the web. You think you're watching the web, but the web is watching you more than you're watching the web. And it's following you everywhere you go. And you know, people who are like, I want my privacy, I want to be tracked. Sorry, like you're fully tracked today. Anybody with decent technical skills could track you and find you. The governments and stuff, it's a no-brainer for them to be able to find you and track you, right? But the ownership of the internet is with corporations. The ownership of the internet is sitting in the hands of corporations. The power is sitting in the hands of corporations. The past 250 years have been a cycle of slowly consolidating people in cities, and the power, whoever holds the power to control those cities holds the power to the people. So it's been the consolidation of power into power structures, governments, Google's organizations, non-governmental organizations, World Economic Forum, World Health Organization, International Monetary Fund, International XYZ, World Bank. These things are, they're also non-local effectively. They're supranational, we call them. They're beyond nations. They're one world. That's created a lot of the problems till today. Ownership. And it's fed us this lie of that we need to own the earth. We don't own the earth. We don't own anything. You are given the privilege of experiencing this beautiful natural earth. And if you think you own a piece of land, no, it's just a registry somebody has that they write your name in it and we go, wow, I owned it. And you don't own anything. If you're Russian, you owned yachts until this went, you don't own the yacht anymore. And they took the yacht, and they took the real estate, and they took the gold, and they took everything in a moment's notice. What happened is the world is transitioning from those ownership structures. So the internet has been like this up until now. Now, we're transitioning to the next stage of the internet. Up until now, internet's been this thing, like, remember, earlier internet was in this like big desktop computer setup. You had to like go to these big machines to access the internet and then you leave. And then it moved to our laps, right? And we can access it. Then it moved to our hands. Then it moved to our wrists. You know where it's going next? Here. And you know where it's going next? In here. And that is the metaverse, the transition of the internet from externality to internality. That is one of the biggest shifts that's happening in the metaverse, from the internet to the metaverse. So now what is the metaverse? Facebook is not the metaverse. They did not invent the metaverse. They do not own it. I was making metaverse videos in 2015. I was hiking through the mountains with a 3D camera where people can experience it and they can experience nature. Because when we saw these headsets come out, we knew that this was a transition that was going to happen. Facebook has just simply officially brought it into the human lexicon, into the human language. They call themselves Meta, so we're like, oh my God, Meta, that means like they must be everything Meta. No, they're just idiots. They're going to control a little corner. This is the old power structures trying to maintain control over the new power structures. What's actually happening now is that power is being shifted from organizations to the individual. The individual today is more powerful. A single human being is more powerful than whole nation states. One hacker can take down entire nation states with the tips of his fingers or her fingers. Okay? So what we're seeing is a transition of the power to the individual. Even though it may feel like the power is being taken away from you, in this space, it can be taken away from you or it can be given to you. You choose. You choose how you want to use that power. Because that was the same thing with the internet, right? When the internet came along, for some people it became a prison, for some people it became freedom. And we chose. Most of this room chose freedom. That's why we're sitting in Bali, because that's the freedom that we have to be able to sit in Bali and use the internet to our benefit and to change the world in a better way. So, even the word metaverse is a misnomer, the same way cryptocurrency is a misnomer. There is no a metaverse. There's an infinity of metaverses. Even within this space, I could go into the meditation metaverse. I can go into VR chat, which is its own metaverse. I can go into Altspace VR, which is its own metaverse. And there will be an infinity of metaverses. I'll tell you a funny story. One day I was just like walking around one of the spaces, and we walked into a Nazi rally. I walked in and they're like, "Nah, Scheiße," and they're like screaming, and there's dogs barking, and there's a guy skinhead on stage doing, and I was just like, great, the Nazis got here first, like, fuck. But it was actually it was a reproduction of the Pink Floyd movie. I don't know if you guys seen it. I haven't seen it either. But somebody told me that it's a reproduction of a scene from that movie, and it was an art piece in an NFT gallery that I was experiencing. But it like jarred me because I was like, exit, right? So there's an infinity of metaverses already, and we're creating them. The real difference is it's now experiential. The metaverse is experiential. It is no longer something happening on a screen. It's something you experience. I just experienced meditation. I just experienced inner state balancing from this process. The same thing will happen going forward. When you go into another metaverse, I experienced the Nazi rally. Like I literally was in the middle. I walked around and then I walked up on stage. I stood next to the guy and I was like, wow, this is insane. This is intense. Like and the feeling of it is ridiculous. Like when I floated there, when I said float up, my body actually floated. I felt that feeling you get when you're like, you get lifted out of your seat in a roller coaster. I got that feeling. Now the internet is no longer just a place I can leave. I mean, for now we can leave it, but pretty soon you won't even be able to leave it. It'll be on lenses, contact lenses on your eyes. Eventually it'll become a hallucination in your head, which you will not be able to leave alone. If you've seen Black Mirror and you've seen all those episodes, they're not that far off. But the experiential nature of the internet changes how we see it. Because no longer is this just the experience. Like, if you've taken psychedelics, like, this isn't the entire experience. There's more to experience here, right? You go into an external state and you're able to experience another level of the universe. And then when you come back with pieces of it, right? Same thing's happening with the metaverse. It is going to make our lives able to be lived within a parallel reality, a parallel experiential reality. Right now it's taken over sight and sound, but pretty soon it's going to take over sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. And it's coming. Like, if all this sounds like cuckoo to you, trust me, I know engineers building it. Google this. Japanese researchers have recorded people's dreams and played it back to them, visually. Russian researchers have recorded the visual cortex and played back what you're seeing already with the rudimentary technology that we have. To then reverse that and put the dream in your head and to put the visual experience in your head is not that complicated. Like Elon's working on it, and whenever Elon works on stuff, he crushes it. Okay, so it's coming. It's called Neuralink. If this terrifies you, welcome to the club. Welcome to the shifting of the world in ways which have never happened at this scale. An entire universe, an infinity of universes are being built that you will be able to exist within and move between, which are way more experiential than this reality. Like this reality, they're making this reality shit. You can't go here, you gotta put the thing, and we gotta do all this stuff. And you're like, this is so shit, I'm going to Bali. Okay, we got this little free island over here. But the rest of the world's like, please, just get me the fuck out of this room. So they're just gonna draw a boundary around themselves and just sit down. And then it's like, I am a king in a universe, and I have a kingdom, and I'm and they will experience realities. World of Warcraft is already a metaverse. MMORPGs already a metaverse, right? So that experiential nature of the metaverse is the most seminal point of this. What it'll also allow us to do is it will allow us to fully actualize our powers of being able to create experiences and create our version of the universe that we want. The New Earthers in here who are like all interested in creating the New Earth, here it is. But you hate this headset. You're like, I want to create the New Earth. Great, here's a headset. No, fuck that thing. I'm building a place. And it's like, great, build a place, but don't run from it. Don't be the person who's hanging on to horses while cars are being invented, because the cars will run you over. And you may be able to escape it, but what are you going to have your kids live in the woods, farming their own food, and left in a world where they're like, what the fuck did my parents do? They didn't understand how the world was shifting. They didn't keep up with it. It's like teaching your kids not to use cell phones and being like, I'm protecting my kids. No, you teach them how to use it to their benefit, but not be simply averse to it because it does not meet our perception of reality. I had this aversion. But because I had this resistance, I was like, great, I have a resistance, I'm going to run towards it. So when they said metaverse headset, I said, give me 2, please. Okay? And then my ex-partner, she was in another country, and I wanted to meet her, and I met her in the space, and it made me want to cry because she was right here. I was able to meet her, and we were able to look into each other's eyes and actually connect and be like, how you doing? You good? She's okay, and we kind of like did this weird avatar hug thing, right? And yes, we had avatar sex. Get out of, you perverts, get out of my head, okay? It was half decent, it was okay. I mean, at that point, it's like jerking off in the metaverse. Sorry, this is raw. If this is your first time, this is not how it always is. We're actually really sweet people. But it's the truth. So, right now we are at the 1992 stage of the internet, where people simply cannot understand what this thing is. If you told somebody that internet's going to take over the world in 1992, they're like, you're nuts. 1997, you're like, it's going to take over the world, and they go, what, the A with the circle around it? The A with the circle around it is going to take over the world? What, it like replaces mail, and you're telling me, great, mail is going to take over the world? Get out of here, bro. All right? And now you're sitting here not that long after 1997, and the entire world was unilaterally taken over. And that was nothing. That was simply the introduction. That was just the laying of the groundwork. We just hooked up the cables and stuff and went, okay, you guys want to test it out? And we went, yeah, great. It took over everything. It took over our kids' psyches, our lives, our world, money, everything, okay? What's coming in the next 20 years is going to be like for the next 20 years, every 5 years you have to unlearn everything that you know. And then you have to learn it, and every 5 years unlearn what you learned in those 5 years. And relearn it, and then unlearn it and relearn it. And if you can't do that, you're one of the illiterates in this future world. In this future world, illiterates don't need to write. They have something to write for them. But the ones who cannot unlearn what they've learned in life and transition to the new stage are the true illiterates of the world. So really sit with it. If you're resisting it, sit with it. Not for you, for posterity, okay? And because I'm a firm believer that I'm going to create a beautiful universe with this. I'm going to create a beautiful universe. We are already doing it. There's people digitizing Bali and digitizing photorealistic version of Bali. When you see it, you're like, whoa, I can feel the Bali from this. And they're digitizing the art, photorealistic replication of the history of Bali and art of Bali, and then they're connecting our artisan goods and digitizing it so somebody from across the world can buy something from an artisan here and the physical thing will be shipped to them, okay? And yes, it's a prison. I literally drew my own prison. Did you see that? You get to select your own prison, build your own prison, and you sit in it. If anybody's listened to Aldous Huxley and all the greats that have talked about this since the 1920s, they spoke of the best prisons are the ones that people build for themselves, that they love being within. You know, money is that prison today. Dollars are that prison today that we built for ourselves, and we love being within it because it's nice. It's nice having dollars, right? So I don't disagree with you. Where you have the opportunity is you are the individual. You're the single most powerful unit that exists on the world today. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but you're literally God. Like you're literally God manifest on earth. God or the universe experiencing itself, you know. When you go deeper within yourself enough, you realize you create the entire physical universe. We're living in this metaverse and we physically manifest and create this entire universe. If you want to learn more about it, follow a scientist called Nasim Haramein. Nasim Haramein. He has scientifically proven how consciousness creates our internal state and how we are quantum entangled with the entire universe, which means you changing your internal state and changing the trillion protons that are inside of you instantly changes every single proton in the universe fundamentally without any delay. So that is how we are affecting the universe and the universe is affecting us. This is what theology said. This is what Ubudians are saying all the time, right? And if you're in this room, we love you. So this is just another step of that. This is the next stage. Now, yes, for many it will be a prison they can't escape. They will be forced into because of the nature of reality. Because many who've submitted to this reality and accepted everything according to what the powers say will be forced into this with no way out. Okay? Many will be kept outside of it. Like Balinese farmers are not going to be able to access this for a few years. Eventually, everybody will have it, the same way cell phones are everywhere. But there's people who won't be able to access it. and their kids will go hungry because they can't access it, because the entire world is moving here. Like now, digital pieces of land sell for 3 times the price of physical pieces of land, 10 times the price of physical pieces of land. One digital piece of land sold for more than Finn's Recreation Club. And it doesn't even have anything on there. Digital pieces of art are selling for more than physical pieces of art. Digital coins and money is selling for 50,000 times more than physical money. What's happening there? What's happening, like we are tokenizing minds, physical minds, we're digitizing them, tokenizing them, and making them accessible in a way that's better. That actually feeds more people on the ground, makes sure the earth is not polluted, and it makes the wealth accessible without any central authorities. So now you're seeing the good and the bad of it, right? When you see this shift, this is where we come in. Okay, so Sim, you just said, I can access a digital version of minds without having to talk to a government, without having to talk to a broker, without having to be accredited, without having to go to a stock exchange and pay somebody fees to get me access to something. I can literally access a digital version of art at a moment's notice without anybody else being involved but me and the computer networks. That gives you the opportunity to do with it what you wish. If you feel like a powerless human, you are the single most powerful thing in the universe. You are the entire universe itself. Now, in this universe also, you are the single greatest unit of power that exists because you are creating it. We are creating it, you know, and it depends on us as to what we create that will determine what proliferates. So, you know, there's a great quote that the best resistances during tyranny are not the ones that fight. They die, and the children die. It's not the ones who picket in the streets. They get face scanned and found, and a similar result happens. They are the ones who build a new way. When you build a newer, better way, people will just come. They'll be like, of course I want to live like this. We have 2 that just landed in Bali because like, it seems like it's pretty cool over there. We're like, yeah, come check it out. And they're like, great, we'll come check it out. And the real people will be pulled to this space, digitally and physically, okay? That also allows us to then pool our powers together. If you're a programmer, you're a coder, you are a marketer, whatever you're doing as a digital nomad, you are a piece of this picture. And if you're just doing it to have a job, you're playing the same game everybody's playing. If you are a creator and you're creating the new way, that is where the power is. But that's also where the money is. That's also where the money is. The ones who create this will control the money. But even the way the money is controlled is changing, is shifting. Because in the old world, the internet is owned by mega corporations. Why? Because those mega corporations own the servers, right? They own the idea, they own the patents, and then they own the servers. And those servers, they're paying for the money of the servers. They're paying for the running costs. They're paying for management. They're paying for everything. So why should they not get all of the money? It just makes perfect sense. What we're doing now with blockchain is we're breaking up those servers in a way that no one person is running it. Everybody is running servers at their houses. We're running like 16 of them right now. But what that allows us to do is, like, if you're new, and especially if you're watching this, blockchain is simply the idea that instead of running one centralized network of computers that are controlled by a single entity, maybe a government, we run computers everywhere across the world. And we put an accounting book onto those computers called a ledger. And that accounting book keeps track of how many coins each person has. And these coins are used to pay for the usage of those computers. In a fundamental sense, that's all blockchain is. Blockchain is a bunch of computers connected together in a new way that are no longer connected through companies, that are connected through individuals. But it also means no one person controls that system. No one person can change that accounting book. No one country controls it. No one space controls it. So blockchain is becoming a public good. Okay, like if you know HTTP, you know at the beginning of every web address is HTTP. That's a public good. Nobody owns the HTTP protocol. There's organizations that manage it and help facilitate it, but nobody owns it. In the same way, blockchain, many of these blockchains are going to become like public goods, where nobody owns it, but we all run it, right? And the good thing is the person who's running it needs to be incentivized to run that computer because they're paying for computers, they're paying for cooling and electricity and time. So we pay them in these coins. We pay them small fractional fees in these coins. Metaverse will be built on that technology. That's why like Meta's Metaverse is so funny to me because it's like, oh, you're going to take the same old system of like control and centralize all this stuff and you're going to bring it to a space where the shackles of everything is being freed and we're decentralizing things, right? Now, at the same time, the technology is called blockchain. Blockchain. It's here to block you and chain you. It's not here to give you full freedom unless you take it, unless you make it, unless you create that freedom. But let's put all the philosophical stuff aside. Okay, now we got computers hooked up in a new way. Now I get to build whatever I want on those computers. I can use Meta's system to build within the Meta ecosystem, or I can use completely separate ecosystems, or I can make systems that hook up to all these different places. Like, do you guys know Decentraland and Sandbox? Did you know you can go into Decentraland? Like you can actually go walk into Decentraland like I just did here, and you can hang out with people. There's parties happening. Somebody just got married in Decentraland. You know, life is being lived in that space. It was weird. There was like aliens and like, because you can like go in there and put on whatever suit you want. So it was like aliens and giants, and it was a weird marriage, but my favorite kind of marriages. What was I even trying to say with all this stuff? Coffee, 1 sec. That then gives us the opportunity to create new business models. Create literally new ways of sharing value. What a business model is you figure out a way to improve people's lives in a new way. Right? If you're a marketer, you figured out a way to get something that's valuable to the people who need that value and connecting that together and presenting it in a way. And that has now become a new way of adding value to people. Right? The internet has created so many new value models. Like the internet is the reason why the biggest website company in the world, Google, doesn't create websites. Biggest social media company doesn't create social media. Biggest real estate company doesn't own real estate. Biggest taxi company in the world doesn't own any taxis. Right? What they actually did is they created platforms that facilitate value to be added to people's lives. And they're able to add value to billions of people's lives. Gojek adds so much value to hundreds of millions of people's lives every day that it became $1 billion company. Okay? Now you can do the same within this space. So let me explain a few that we're already doing that are really valuable and that maybe will help explain this. Gozi and Unix, they have the play to earn model. Okay? What they've done is there's games based on this technology where there's coins that are valuable within the games, and they're valuable because people want to play with them. People add joy to their lives by playing with it. That's the idea of gaming. There's Indonesians who had no jobs during COVID, who would just wish they could feed their kids properly. We went in and bought a bunch of NFTs within those ecosystems, turned them around, so investors invested in money into NFTs, turned them around, taught the Indonesians and Filipinos and people from across the world how to play with them in a way so they can earn money, they can earn these coins. They spend their time playing with it, which is there's the value coming in, and they're adding value to their life. The investors got a return because the coins that they're earning, 50% of it went back to investors. 50% of it went into the pocket of the person playing, and the person turned it into dollars or rupiah and then fed their kids with it. So what's going on there is we're literally pulling value from the metaverse. We're pulling value from the digital space and we're handing it to people, right? And it's not even handing it to people. The people are learning. They're educating themselves in a new business model, and they're able to feed their kids from this model. And everybody benefited. You know, they got to play a game, which they were like, "You're gonna pay me to play a game? Like, I pay money to play games." They go, "No, the world is changing. Unlearn all that. There's new ways. We'll pay you to play a game." Okay? So everything is gonna move to this kind of value model. There's now move to earn, which is like if you just move, you'll earn money. We're now creating act to earn, which is like if you clean up the earth, if you save plastic, if you recycle, if you clean up a beach, we will quantify it and you will get paid to do that. I mean, we do that for free anyway, but imagine if I pay you, how much more are you going to clean up, right? You'll be like, great, this is incentivizing me to help the earth. And we've built value models where the businesses benefit, the investors benefit, the earth benefits, and the people doing it benefit. And everybody shares the value. No one person owns all of that value. And these are just ideas, and now we're creating heal to earn. Of course, this is an Ubud idea, but we love it. Heal to earn. If you go and do inner work, which is like, if you do inner work, thank you for working on the universe. We really appreciate you like changing the frickin' universe, because it's all within you anyway. If you look within and you improve yourself, we'll pay you for it, because we know what's gonna happen. When we pay you to heal, you will go heal more, and you will heal the universe, you will heal the earth, you will heal our children, you will heal all of these wounds that have been left on the earth. And you're getting paid for it. Problem? Any questions until now? Anybody like, what the hell is this guy on about? Like, so think. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
In my opinion, most X to earn games
Yeah.
are very problematic because like 100% of them are just enormous Ponzi schemes because there's no real value added, and you cannot pay someone to do something in the real world with the value model that we have today.
Yes.
With like how we create their business models, none of these companies really bring value. It's just an enormous Ponzi scheme, which is problematic. So
Yeah.
if we want to be able to bring something in the world and to incentivize people to use this type of apps and to really do things like to create, to go out, to have fun, to
Act.
feel, to act in a positive way, we absolutely need to find new value proposition and business model that would really rely on something good and positive for the world, not just an enormous Ponzi scheme.
100%. So that's why like we're in the beta testing stages of all this stuff. You know, play to earn was the first thing that went, oh my God, this is a model that actually exists. And you're 100% right, and you also sound like the type of guy who could build that model. You do. You understand it well enough that you're like, I see the problems with this model. I see that there could be better value models. So this has been my journey, right? I was like, how can we add real world value to people, right? Like the mining thing, it's like, okay, we're tokenizing the mines. We're allowing everybody to access it. Where's the value? We're pulling out stuff from the ground, which is real value. It is going, and then we're making sure the earth doesn't get polluted in the process. That's real value. Then we're making sure real people on the ground get fed better, and we listen to them, and we cooperate with them, and we work with communities to make sure that we're changing the way mining has been done, right? So they're 100%. So please think about this. Think about this like, like what's being done today, which is in this centralized type structure, and how could we use a new way of incentivizing everybody? Because you got to incentivize the investors, because they're the investors, they're the ones who actually make it happen. But you can't have Ponzi schemes. That's why, yeah, a lot of these games, most of crypto today is a Ponzi scheme. Almost all of crypto today is a Ponzi scheme. Even Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. It's just a Ponzi scheme we love, right? And the value model of being able to store my money somewhere where the governments can't mess with it, that's valuable. That is valuable in a limited nature, all that kind of stuff, right? So yes, 100% I agree with you. But also, I'm a solutions guy. I look at the problems and I build the solutions. You sound like a guy who can build the solutions, build one. And you'll get insanely wealthy in the process. You know what I mean?
Right, so I can answer to that. Just in the US, last year, $800 billion were given to charity. 2% of that went to the environment, 16% of that went to education. Now, if we can channel just a little bit of that and fuel it into this act to earn, this is not a concept. Now, imagine if you put a blockchain in the middle, when you give $50 to a charity, this is what stops. You know you gave $50, you have no idea what happened with it. With the blockchain, you know that 52 kg of plastic has been collected from Petit Penguin Beach by 12 people. And you know those people, you have their name, you even have pictures. That's the power of blockchain. You know? Immutable, transparency, fast, reliable.
So that's what we're going to do with this mining thing, right? Money comes out of mining. We're going to take some. We're going to give back to initiatives that help the earth. We're literally going to plant trees. We're literally going to clean up beaches. We're literally going to reforest lands. Even the lands that we mine, we're going to reforest with food forests for the people who are there. We're going to give excess solar energy from our mines to people. And through that, we will have complete traceability, live traceability of how many trees were planted, where was each tree planted, how much carbon did it, the carbon thing, I'm like, anyways, how much carbon was pulled out of the air or not put out into the air, how much plastic was pulled out, how much of your dollars went to a place where they were utilized to actually do the thing.
Absolutely. I'm a crypto and I'm like a blockchain fanboy, so.
You look like a crypto head.
No, but absolutely,
Yeah.
I totally agree with both of you. But one of the biggest problems, in my opinion, is that most of crypto nowadays, and most of NFT, and most of projects nowadays built on the blockchain,
Yeah.
are only created for speculation.
Yeah, 100%.
And the goal of blockchain, like the goal of blockchain project, because NFT project, crypto project, token project, they're all blockchain projects. All these projects are here for money. And this is the problem, is that blockchain nowadays is a speculation sector, is a speculation sector where people try to make money, try to make quick money, try to make a lot of money. And the problem is, we need to go from trying to make money to trying to bring value.
Exactly.
This is the real shift.
Man, I feel like you've been here for a long time, but sorry, continue. Yeah, you're speaking our language. Yes, value.
And in my opinion, this is the real shift from being like a speculation sector where no value proposition is added and where
Whoa, easy, easy, easy. Don't like blow my eardrums out.
We need this real shift to really bring something, because nowadays, in my opinion, this is why there's a problem into blockchain adoption for two reasons. The first reason is that the technology is pretty complex. So it is our work to make it easier for normies to adopt.
Yes.
And this is the first one. And the second one is that there is no value added nowadays. There is no value added because it's only speculation. In my opinion, for example, you talked about cars before with some horses, you know?
Yeah.
When people were riding horses and they saw cars, they were like, oh, this is weird, okay, for a few years, tens of years. But when they understood the real value that was brought by cars, oh, you can go 10 times faster, everybody adopted cars. Nowadays, people are not using blockchain because they do not understand where is the value.
Yes.
Because most of the people that have the power, that have the skills to bring and to build on the blockchain are just searching for money. They are not searching to bring value.
Yes.
And in my opinion, this is where we need, all of us, we need to try to, this is the goal that we should have. Try to build value on the blockchain. Try to really build a project and concept that will really bring value to the people's lives and that will empower people and not just search for money.
100%.
Search for value, and with value, you will make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. This is exactly what we're doing. This is what we teach. What we teach is like, not even teach, what we're sharing with everybody is the idea that value is the concept of improving somebody's life. Value is the concept of improving somebody's life, improving the earth, just improving. If you improve what's going on and you improve 1 billion people's lives, then you deserve the money. If you figure out a way, because Google improved our lives so much. I Google 1,000 things a day. I wouldn't be anywhere without Google, right? So we need to figure out real world value models and bring them into the space. And that's why most of the space will die. Most of the space will die. Over 90% of startups fail statistically. So over 90% of cryptos will fail. And it's our job to build these new value models. And it's hard to conceptualize. You need that kind of thinking to be able to understand the depths of what's going on in blockchain and seeing the problems with it and then fixing it and then building it and then presenting it to investors, making it worth their time for them to give you money. Right? So for me, money is not the problem. Money is simply a tool. Money is a storage mechanism of value. Money is a storage mechanism of value, and value is a way of showing love to others. When you improve somebody's life, you're showing love to those people. When you store money, you store love for yourself, right? So our goal is to change this narrative of money. And anybody who's here for speculation, look at what happens. What happened to them from November until now? Right? People get destroyed. If you're here to get rich quick, you're going to get poor. How about you come here to not get poor slowly? Okay? Don't try to get rich quick. Try to not become poor slowly. That's a good way of entering this space. Secondly, understand value models. Understand the value of what you're holding and what you're investing in and what you're participating in as an option. So I love that. Thank you for that. And you should present sometime because I feel like you have a lot of good stuff to teach people, okay?
Presenting on the 29th.
Great. What, 29th here? 29th, what's your name? Paul. Paul's presenting here on 29th. He speaks about value, one of us. Seriously. Value is everything. And in Bali, you don't have to speak about this and people get it. Value is on the physical plane, mental plane, spiritual plane. That's all we're doing. We're here to add value. And if you take value, the universe takes care of takers very well. You can make all the money you want. It'll make you miserable. It'll make you miserable. We just posted a video of Mike Tyson. Tyson was like, the best 3 years of my life were in prison. And the guy's like, what? Dude, you had millions. You got paid $30 million for a fight. And he's like, yeah, but I had my peace. I had balance. You know? He's like, without peace and balance, what's it all worth? I do a half decent Tyson. But that's the idea. I can give and then he said, God punishes you by giving you everything you want. And I was like, oh. God punishes you. I'm literally getting goosebumps right now even thinking about it. God punishes you by giving you everything you want to see if you can handle it. And the ones who are adding value, who wake up every morning with value in their minds and value in their hearts and value in their souls, and they add value, you go to sleep with such peace and such balance, knowing I dedicated my time, my most precious resource, to improving as much around me as I could and vibrating the energy of gratitude. And then you know what happens? The money chases you around. When he's like, please do this, and then you get to be like, no, if a coal mine comes to us, tokenize a coal mine, we'll be like, please, exit stage right. That is not what we're trying to support, right? Thank you, that's a really good point. So it's our goal to build new business models. What we need are these creative minds who understand. The other part about helping people understand it, that's also been my mission for years now. The reason why I'm doing all this stuff is so you understand this space. And you understand it not in crypto language. Please don't present in crypto. Speak English. You know what I mean? The problem why people don't understand crypto is because we speak crypto. This is the decentralized blockchain method of processing payments on and we're doing this, and there's dApps were built, and people are just like, dude, you lost me at the first word. Can you go back? Can you tell me what the hell decentralization means? Right? So my mission has been turn it into English. I won't use those words. As a matter of fact, I'll use the word blockchain to tell you it's going to block you and chain you. And I'm supposed to be the guy telling you to get into this stuff, okay? So it's our goal to build new business models. When I'm saying a completely new universe is being invented, it's being invented by us. What are you going to invent? What is it that you're going to invent that's going to improve people's lives in a better way? Gold is being reinvented, internet's being reinvented, money is being reinvented, data is being reinvented, stocks are being reinvented, vision is being reinvented, experience is being reinvented, connection is being reinvented, love is being reinvented, commodities are being reinvented. Just pick one. Just pick one and just do that well and you'll be great, okay? But these value models, as broken as they are right now, what it actually did though, it did add value to hundreds of thousands of people's lives because they fed their kids. They weren't just there for the speculation. They were there to feed their kids, and they fed their kids. We fed kids. You give me a system, I'll feed kids with it. Simple as that. Because those kids are not their kids. They're my kids. They're our kids. We're all kids. If you haven't met your inner child, go meet them, like him or her. They've been causing problems in your life for quite a while. When you meet them, they'll be much more conducive to working with you. All right? If you haven't met them yet, I met mine. He was just like, he's like, you see me? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, man, you never listen. And I was like, no, I'm here now. I'm here. I was like, come here. He's like, no. I was like, come here. Just, I love you. Come here. And he's like, okay. He kind of like walks. He's like, this is weird. He fucking sees me now. And like comes over, and I was like, picked him up, and I put him on my hip, and he's just like, now what? And I'm like, now let's go do this together. And he was like, okay, as long as you listen, man. I won't cause problems as long as you listen. And I'm like, I listen. And you are a handful to deal with, so come here. Like, let's go build I would not want to have me as a kid, you know? I mean, no, I love you. I'm just joking about this, okay? Chill. The other thing that's happening in the world is ownership will no longer be a thing. When they're saying you will own nothing and you'll be happy, and we're like, what do you mean? You're going to take everything from me? It's like, no, like it's a different, it can be a modality of taking everything from you if that's what you end up making it. The same way that I don't need to own a car anymore. It's a service. Cars that were products are now a service. And when I need a car shows up. If I need a better car shows up. If I need a scooter shows up. And it shows up, takes me to wherever, and it feeds kids. So products are becoming services. Real estate became a service. Cars became a service. Data and social connection became a service. Everything is clothes are going to become a service. Food is already a service. It's called Gojek. So ownership of things is completely useless because it's like, you know what the problem is? Everybody wants a car. Everybody wants a villa. Everybody wants to live like a millionaire. Well, we don't have it, guys. We don't have it. We don't have enough. Yes, the West took it and kept the East out of it, whatever. That's beyond the point. We don't have enough resources to give you all villas. But in here, I was just in a villa. You see the villa? I was in Uluwatu. It was sick. I can have all the villas I want. I can have all the cars I want. I can fly to the moon. Zero marginal cost, zero effect on the planet. I mean, zero-ish effect on the planet. This is where we're transitioning to, okay? Sharing the resources has become the future. Go ahead. You can just keep the mic, man. If you want to jump in, just keep the mic. Just chime in. I love having a pause in this stuff.
No, it's just something I thought about. So when you talked about it, but aren't we going to rebuild and recreate the same models that we created in the real world inside the metaverse? And this is a real
Maybe.
Because in my opinion, like for example, you were talking about having a villa, having many cars, having a sports car, having a Ferrari, having anything you want. But most of the time, in my opinion, when you want a Ferrari, it's not for the Ferrari. Nobody cares about a Ferrari. You want a Ferrari because you want your neighbor to see your Ferrari.
Yes.
You want a Lamborghini because you want your neighbor to see your Lamborghini. You want the girls that you're going to bring to your house to see, oh,
that's
this
it.
guy has this.
It's not even the neighbors. It's just the girls, bro. Like you could just go right to the girls. Like if it wasn't for like the feminine energy, I would be in the woods. I just go live in the woods. Why do I need to do any of this stuff? I'm fine, barefoot in the woods, naked, walking around. Like doesn't matter, right?
I try to hide my inner motives while talking about.
It's okay. You don't have to hide them. Yeah.
For the girls.
Especially you, man. I've been like, oh no, you got. Probably like, no, I'm sorry, please. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interject.
So in my opinion, most of the things we do is because we are like a social animal. We
Yes.
need people in our lives. We need to show what we have to people. We want to be happy. We want love. That's what we want. But how is it going to be possible to have those things in a world where everyone is? Because, for example, imagine in the metaverse, everybody's going to play in the metaverse, but there's a currency. So everybody's going to pay with that currency. But, for example, there will be some very rich people, but there will also be some poor people. So it's going to be like the same structural society.
Yes.
So some people will have all the Lamborghinis, some people will have all the normal cars, and so we come from a classical world where...
No. That is a function of nature. That is not a classical world. That's a function of nature. When you take shiny things and you give it to monkeys, they instantly go into hierarchy. You take away the shiny things, they stay in the hierarchy. Nature builds hierarchies because the way nature functions is hierarchies. We all have a part to play.
Yeah.
Some people are visionaries, some people are builders, some people just want to chill. Like, let them chill. People want to chill, let them chill. Right? If they want a Ferrari, go in there and see a Ferrari. Nobody's seeing you. Who was in my villa? Me.
Yeah, absolutely, but that's the thing. So if you want to play socially, and you want to be in a game with other people, it will be the same social structure. So
It will always be the same.
people, there will be poor people, all the rich people will have their
You know why the rich people are rich?
But you're only going to be able,
Yeah.
to be to have like all the Lamborghinis, all the villas, all the everything you want, but in solo player then. So
Yeah.
does it really bring value to
Yes.
have those things
Yes.
if it's only in solo?
Yes, it does. Because you feel better.
Yeah.
You feel better. You're saying this sitting in Bali, right? It's easy to have this conversation in Bali. Come to minus 30 degree Canada, where I'm from. Come to minus 30 degree Canada. I was sitting in my tower. Apparently I was successful. People are like, you're so successful. And I was like, oh, why am I crying every week? You give me this, I would cry less. Right now in this world, stay inside, lock down. If you go outside, you're going to murder grandma. In that world, you give people anything to improve their mental state and their energetic state, and it does add value. Solo player or not. If I can make you feel like a king, maybe you will become the superhero that's within you. You know what I mean? So the value is different. The idea of value is changing. We're holding on to an old version of value, and yes, hierarchies will exist. You know why rich people are rich? Because they figured out ways to add value to as many people's lives as they could. And then they abuse the power, they do all the stuff, I don't care. You know why poor people are poor? It's a mindset. I come from a mud house in India. A mud house, nobody gave me a penny. My dad abandoned me when I was 15. My mom died when I was 1. Nobody gave me shit. And I'm standing here today because I learned how to add value to so many people's lives. And the people that are around me, we just exude love. We fucking exude love. And when you exude love, just figure out a way to monetize it and feed that love to kids.
Hey, I just asked something.
Go ahead, keep going.
But is there, like, we all know that value is totally relative, so there's no real...
Sorry, what was the question?
The value is totally relative.
Yes.
Like, value doesn't exist.
Yes.
Value is in the mind.
Yes.
So, for example, gold has value only because people want gold. A lot of people want gold. There's a low supply of gold. Like classical market mechanics, gold has a lot of value.
No, gold has value because we need a place to store our love where people can't fuck with it. Right? Gold has value because we've agreed that this is a place where I can store my love, money, for myself later on. And later on when I need love for myself, or I need love for my kids, or I need love for the world, I can pull it out of this mechanism that can't be corrupted, that's much harder to corrupt than traditional value storage mechanisms like fiat currency. So gold has an intrinsic value because it literally allows me to store my love in a way that everybody agrees I can retrieve my love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It has, the only value that it has is because it's actually globally agreed that it's a a storage of value. But intrinsically, it has no value.
Yeah,
Nothing
it's
has
useless.
intrinsic value, right?
Yeah.
And so, can we say that there will be value in a solo player? Because
Yes.
I don't like solo player games.
I do.
It's boring.
I only play solo
don't
player
play
games.
solo player.
I love solo player
only
games.
play multiplayer games because I see other people. I'm a social animal. I like socializing. I like going out. So I don't really find value inside a solo player.
I do.
I only find value into multiplayer games when I can like interact,
Yeah.
have fun, go out, live, have
Where you can
sex, have
shoot them in the
everything.
head, that's what you're saying.
Shoot them in the head.
Come on.
After
That you
stomp
love them
them
so much, you're like,
on the
pop,
ground.
pop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, in the metaverse, if the only value that we can bring with the metaverse, where like the social structures are destroyed, is in single player, are we really creating value, or are
Yes.
we just trying to like, or is it just a replication of what we have in the real world?
It is a replication of what we have in the real world because that's a natural function of nature. It's a natural organizing mechanism of nature. There's queen bees, and then there's soldier bees, and then there's worker bees. There's queen ants, there's soldier ants, and there's worker ants. And you know what ants do to each other? They murder each other. They're 100% at war, almost all the time. Some ants can't even look at each other. They will just go right into war. Some of them will work until somebody shakes them, and then they'll murder each other. That's a function. Nature eats you ass first. Nature, Mother Nature, our beautiful, lovely Mother Nature, eats everything ass first alive. I literally mean lions will hunt something and eat it ass first while it's living. That is a function of nature. For us to try to be like, we're going to stop violence, get out of here. We're going to restructure society in a way that removes all, no, that's not how nature works. That's just not how reality works. But what you're saying is so true because it's up to us to create new value models. No, give him the mic back. Give him the mic back. Let the man. No, I need you on the mic, bro. We got recordings. People can't hear you. People from across the world need to hear you. Yeah. Give him the mic.
Because I have something to
Yeah,
say.
but just give it to him first. Give it to him first, and then you say it. I'll give you my mic.
He gave it to me. Okay, no.
Violence.
There is one thing here. You assume that values stay the same. And what we gave value to, say, 300 years ago is not what we're giving value to today. Like one of the most valuable things, say, 300 or 400 years ago, was knowing how to read and write. There was, like in a 200 people village, there was one person who knew how to read and write. Okay? And everybody was looking at maybe becoming that person. That was power, that was value. Today, on our planet, something like maybe 95 or 99% of the people knows how to read and write. Now, everything that we consider today wealth or like close to luxury is going to be marginally free, not so far down in the future. You know, education, health, transportation, energy, access to resources, all that is probably going to be close to free really soon, and blockchain is going to
It's already getting there.
It is getting there.
Like, please watch a talk by Jeremy Rifkin called the Fourth Industrial Revolution that explains to you how adding value has now become zero marginal cost. As long as I have a laptop, as long as I have a phone, as long as I have an internet, I can add value to billions of people's lives for basically free, right? This new world, we don't need resources to add value to your life. We can add value unilaterally in a new way. So the value mechanism has gone to zero marginal cost in many ways. You know, what it cost me to tokenize the mines was just to sit and think. I sat and think, and then I paid a bunch of lawyers to try to figure out the regulatory system, and then I paid a bunch of consultants. So I added value into the system, and they just helped me think about new ways of doing this stuff, and then we built it, right? So the understanding of how we add value to people's lives is completely shifting and changing, and it's for us to build it.
Yes, you're both absolutely right. Just to answer your previous argument, so this is really the point. We need to find new value models because the promise that we're doing with the metaverse and what's in most people's mind is, oh my God, you can be what you want. You can become who you want. You can become a rich person. You can become a king. You can become this and that. But that's not true. That's not true because you can become it in solo player. But in multiplayer, it will be the same structure. So in my opinion, and this is like normal because as you said, it's like it works like this in life, in every society. But in my opinion, if we want to really be able to bring value in the metaverse, we as the builders should try to find solutions to break this social structure
100%.
and really enable people to become what you want to become, even in multiplayer.
100%. And so that's what we're doing here. We're shifting people's understanding of what's actually going on, right? To help us see this landscape in a way so we can build those models to add value in this new way that adds value really to people. So we're doing the same thing with communities. We're building whole compounds where so people like you who are like, man, I got this great idea. I don't know how to realize it. We'll go, come on in. We got living space, we got food, we got water, we got support, we got investors, we got consultants, we got programmers, we got everything. Just come with your idea fully fleshed, and we will give you all the resources for zero marginal cost. And yes, we will take a piece of the project that you're building, but it doesn't cost you anything. And we are now going to facilitate your ability to realize these ideas in a way that's completely decentralized. And then it's like, oh, you can go live in this compound, north of Bali. You can go live in this one, Ahmed. You can go live this one in Peru and this one in Costa Rica, and you have access to all of it. You know what I mean? So that's where we're working with governments to help them see this. We're working with entities and organizations to help bring them together and bring the resources and bring them into this value model. We're working with people to help them understand it. We're educating around all this stuff, and you're educating now around all this stuff, and we're the change makers who actually change the visualization of what's going on, the hallucination of what's going on. One thing that you said that really hit a point was it's not true. It is true if the person believes it to be true. There is no truth. Truth is a subjective perception of what's actually going on. So for you, it's not true that it adds value to be a king and solo player. To me, it adds value. Because you know, I love people, I love you all, but I like to get away from all of you sometimes. If I have 6 kids, man, you know how much value it adds if I get to go be a king in my own domain and people leave me alone? Oh, give me that. Like, jack it into my head, please. Mainline it into my veins, because it adds so much value to me for me to go experience my own space and place. And maybe I can't afford a villa that allows me to have 7 rooms, 8 rooms, which allows me to have my own room. But in this, I can have my own villa, I can have my own space. Okay, so now we're going to move on. Now for some bad stuff. This world is not the open internet world we come from. This world is a digital ID world. You will need a certain QR code type situation to enter and access this world. You will be fully tracked. You will be known, right down to your bank account. Your bank account is going to switch to a banking system called ISO 20022. One of the talks I'll do sometime soon will be around that banking system. I've done previous ones. Please join our group. Please go watch all the previous talks we've done that explain all of this stuff. It's going to be a digital ID world. And if you're resisting even that, well, you better have a farm. You better be able to pull out your own food, and you better be able to pay for a quitas every 2 years, right? And even for the quitas, they'll go, where's your QR code, right? It is going to be a world where physical things are represented in digital, right? When I buy clothes now, it's going to be like, I get Louis Vuitton's already doing this, that you get the cloth, but you get a digital representation of those clothes. And the ownership is verified, so you know this is not fake Louis. And you will then be able to wear it in the metaverse and in the physical space. You will be able to own, like the Bali twin guys, they're making a digital version of Bali, right? That allows the digital ownership of beautiful art from Bali, and it doesn't take away anything from they're not going to move the history, no, but they can have a piece of history that they can keep to enjoy in this digital space. Okay? This is not bad. Just the digital ID part of it was bad. Not even bad. Like, again, bad is just a perception of my mind. I think a lot of value will be added by the digital ID thing. We just need to reconceptualize our idea of what's good and bad. The other thing that's going to happen, which is like scaring the shit out of me, is like, you guys seen the thing where like Google's engineer said the AI became sentient? Oh, you should really Google this. Google's engineer was talking to an AI, and when you read the conversation, you're like, that thing is sentient, man. That thing, it's speaking deeper language than we can ever, not ever, but like it's speaking at the level of Buddha in its understanding of the self. So it's become sentient. The next thing that's going to happen is it's literally going to become an assistant next to you. Because part of this metaverse is not just a completely closed off experience of virtual reality. That's VR, virtual reality. Then there's augmented reality, where the digital is going to come into the physical world. Like this screen, we won't need this screen. You guys will all have this screen in your head. We won't need to be in the same room. You'll be able to enter the room and experience the room in your own head. But there will be like a Siri next to you. It won't be like, hey Siri, what's going on? She's like, I do not understand. You know? It'll be like, hey Siri, meet Cyril, my friend, and meet his friend, Siri. The Siri, meet yourself. And that digital assistant will become a companion that will be sentient, or as sentient as we can imagine it to be. And that thing will give company to lonely people. And what that thing determines will determine what those lonely people do.
Sentient?
Sentient, conscious. Conscious. Conscious of itself. Aware of itself. Aware of its own mortality and existence. And having feelings around its own existence and the mortality of its own existence. Right? That's why we're conscious, because we're constantly aware that we're going to die, right? And that's what makes us do all the things that we do. But AI is going to become an incorporated part of this. But the VR is just the start. AR is where this digital world comes out of the internet and it starts existing. Like within 5 years, you'll start to see this. Within 10 years, I won't be able to be sure if this table's here. I'll probably need to go like this. Be like, okay, that's a real table. You know, I'll see somebody next to me and I'll be like, okay, you're not actually there. Okay. And that will become so normal, the same way like you ever imagine like, if I told you in 2004 that you're going to put your kids into a stranger's car, you would have laughed me out of the room. You would have been like, we train our children not to get into strangers' cars. Now what you do is you press a button and call a stranger. You'd be like, you're not going to drive, you're going to drink. Okay, you're 16, you're probably going to try to drink and do drugs. I'm going to put you in a stranger's car, so the stranger drives you, and another stranger will pick you up and drive you back. It 100% flipped a 180. Our sensibilities flipped a 180 like that. And you know what it was? Convenience. We're so lazy. You just give us convenience, we'll be like, great, now let's start putting kids in strangers' cars. Let's start bringing strangers into our homes and letting them live in our homes. That just makes so much sense. It actually makes me money to do that. Now that digital world is coming to the physical world. And the physical and the digital will enmesh. There will be no separation between the two. That's called XR, extended reality. Okay? And again, we're partnering with people who are building the XR world and are bringing spirituality into that understanding and building systems that are connected to the spirit world that bring that knowledge and understanding into it so we can build that new way of bringing extended reality into this world. What that's also going to do is it's also going to take away locality again. Because where is the internet? Where is the metaverse? It's not in any country. It's jurisdictionless. Where it is one world. The US system is collapsing, and China is not going to be the future superpower. China will be the geopolitical superpower in certain regions, in the Asia-Pacific region, in the Asia region, and somewhat the power balance will shift from the US towards China, yes. But the next system is the one world government. World Economic Forum, World Bank, World Health Organization, world. They're non-governmental organizations with no democracy. Democracy is disappearing. Locality is disappearing. Right now, you can work on the other side of the world. There is no like here or there. With the metaverse, it's going to take it even further where locality as an experience will go away. You want to come to Bali? You can be in Bali. You want to not be in Bali, and I want to be in Bali and there at the same time, I can do that, right? As that is happening, we are now creating new forms of value exchange. We're valuing new things, okay? We're valuing new things. Just like I value Google. I really value Google. I didn't value the library the same way, but I value Google. I value being able to be a king in my own domain and knowing I'm not hurting anybody when I'm in that experience. We're starting to value new things. And in that digital world, value will need to move digitally. That's why what's going on with these cryptos and blockchains and stuff is value is being digitized. The movement of value is being digitized. So we're going to tokenize real estate here. If you need to buy real estate today, oh my God. And you got to go to a lawyer who goes to a notary who verifies the ownership, who speaks to the government, and then you hope to God that you're buying a piece of land that's owned by this person that's verified, and then you go build $1 million hotel on top, and then when you're done, somebody walks out of the woodwork and goes, you never even owned the thing. I actually own the land and I own the hotel on it, please leave. Okay, and it took me 1.5 years to do that and $1 million of expenditure to build this place over 2 years, and this is such a stupid system. And then I got to move $1 million. Oh my God. Go to your banker and be like, hello, I'd like $1 million, please, of my money. And they go, that's not your money, bro. You signed paperwork saying that's not your money. So where do you want to move our money? We go, I want to move it to Indonesia. They go, Indonesia? It's Indonesia. Scams? You're not going to take our money and take it to a scam, right? And so you're going to have to be like, can I talk to the money manager? Can I talk to the account manager? Can I please? Can I have $1 million, please? Please? And then they go, okay, fine, we'll let you have half of that. And you send it, and it's like, now it's going to take 5 days for the thing to show up, and you're like panicking because $1 million is in flux for 5 days. And you're like, did the dollars arrive yet? And you're like checking, and you're like, oh, it's delayed. Like, that's such a stupid system. We don't have time for that. This world doesn't have time for that. What this world is going to allow us to do is we're going to digitize real estate and verify the ownership and turn it into an NFT or turn it into a digital record of the ownership of that real estate or tokenize it and fractionalize it. And you from the other side of the world can just wake up and go, I would like 1/1 of real estate in Bali. And you will just go, done, processing, done. Without having to speak to government, without having to speak to lawyers, without having to speak to notaries, you will be able to access the value. And the value will transfer like this. The value will take 3 seconds to transfer into your system. And in these digital spaces, everything is going to be paid. This is where the rich versus poor structure still comes in this space. Everything is going to be paid. When you watch the Meta video, he says a piece of art pops up and they go, ooh, look, this is a piece of art artist shared on the street, and they throw it into the metaverse, and they're all like, cool. And then it starts to disappear, and this was very key. It starts to disappear, and they went, 1 sec, let me pay the artist to see it longer. And you paid them to experience it longer. Because sadly, the world no longer needs humans that don't add value. Not even sadly, it's just a fact. The world no longer needs humans that don't add value. It never did, but there was doing all this stuff. Now, the powers that be are determining who adds value. Right? There might be somebody who's like, I don't know, they're improving people's lives. They're going around changing people's souls. They're healing them with knowledge and energy, and they're improving their lives vastly, but it's not being quantified. Like a healer improves people's lives in a way that you cannot put into numbers. You cannot pay a healer enough, Yet, they're not being valued correctly. Whereas the heal to earn model will value them. It'll put them at the center. Like if you heal 1 million people, we'll pay you $1 million. You know what I mean? So the way value happens will transition. And the way value moves is transitioning. And value will move instantaneously across the world, automatic, smart contracts, without bankers, without people, without anything, as long as you're a good boy or girl and you actually didn't post something wrong on social media and your digital ID is all good. I know, we're all fucked. That's why I'm getting a farm.
Yes, I have a real question about how do you index and how do you put real life objects inside the metaverse? Because knowing that a blockchain is an immutable ledger, how do you take real life things that will break at one point, that will destroy even a painting? Like I take a Picasso painting, I don't know how old it is, maybe 150 or something like this, 100 years, and maybe in 500 years, they will all be destroyed because
Yes.
we don't know with time and everything. How do you take like a physical object and you present it inside an immutable ledger, and like how do you do this?
How do you guarantee that? Let's let Cyril answer that. He loves those things.
You KYC them. Simple as that. We KYC ourselves at the moment. If you want to move money, you need to, the bank need to know your customer. If you're dead, your NFT doesn't says you're not alive anymore. So basically you can KYC, stop thinking like NFTs or stuff, just it is a process, like know your customer. It's a process to make sure that whatever we're talking about, which can be a human, which can be a real estate, which can be a piece of art, really exists. So when you change, your ID change. Basically, right now, when you want to KYC a human, you send a copy of your ID, and then you make a selfie where you move your head to prove that you are you and that you're still existing.
I think the question is the other way. How do you take the literal physical stuff and verify it in the digital world?
That's it.
No, it's more than that.
KYC
Here's how we're doing it. It's KYC is part of it, but here's how we're doing it. There's physical minds, right? They're actually physical minds. There's an agreement that shows that we own the usage of those mines or own the mines themselves. This is where you got to partner with the governments because they still run shit. Right? So we went to the US government, to the Securities and Exchange Commission, and we would like to register these mines as a security. This token we're creating, we would like to register as a security. They verify, okay, if you're registering this as a security, is there a legal framework that ties the ownership and value that you're accruing to this to the value in the mines? And there's a regulatory structure. And we're paying a shit ton of money to make sure that regulatory structure is in place. So when you buy it, it's verified. It's verified by auditors and the Securities and Exchange Commission and the US government and governments from across the world. And we are beholden to make sure that value is not broken in any way. So that's where people who are like, fully decentralized, no. Fully decentralized doesn't work yet, right? Fully decentralized is like, okay, well, who is verifying the ownership or the value that's there? So what I believe in is decentralization has its place, but it needs to be tied with the existing world, at least for the next 70 to 80 years. After that, systems will come into place where everything will be automated and digitized, and will start to, you get the idea. Okay. You got a question?
There's not a microphone involved.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not working. No, just use that one.
Can you elaborate a bit more on the metaverse in the sense of, because I see a lot of metaverses are very virtual. I mean, in the sense of like a game, pixeled. People need to have an editor to create some, I don't know, items, etc. So my question is going, how far you see the technology that, for example, in the future, I can really make a picture, okay, let's say this room, and I can have it as a 3D in the metaverse. So what are the challenges in terms of, I don't know, graphical design, or how far we are really to have a real
They're almost ready.
Feasible, yeah.
They're ready already. Like there's literal. So the way the Bali Twin guys are doing it, and there's the way that I think there's Quixel, I think is a company that's doing this, where they have photorealistic scanner. Quixel, I think it's called Quixel. But they have photorealistic scanners, which you can like laser scan. They're doing a photo scan, but you can laser photo scan this entire place, and you just go, and now you have a digital representation of this. Even more than that, there's an AI called HAL-E. Okay. No, DAL-E, right? DAL-E. Now there's DAL-E 2. Man, DAL-E 2 is ridiculous. You just tell DAL-E 2, make a room of this size with these walls, with this tiling on the floor, with green lights that run in parallel in this section, and with curtains on the side, with this many seats. Some of them need to be chairs, some of them need to be, and you just type this out, and the thing populates. It just creates everything for you. Right now it's in the 2D photo space. Pretty soon it's going to be, Siri, hey Siri, build Bali. I'll see you in 40 minutes. She goes, 40 minutes? I mean, it took me 800 millionths of a second to recreate Bali, right? And then it's like, and this is where you won't even need to do it. We got friends who are doing it already. You partner with them. You say, how are you guys doing it? I'd love to leverage your system. Are you building a digital version of Bali? Great, can I have it? Can I? And they'll go, yeah, it's free for us to give it to you. It's zero marginal cost for us to give it to you. So those challenges are already well being conquered. The hardware challenge is what's being conquered now, right? I can't render that photorealistic stuff on this headset. It's just not powerful enough. As soon as we have quantum computing in our palms, it will render photorealistic stuff. Apple's going to release their headset next year, which is going to be a big bulky headset. Slowly they're going to turn into sexy glasses, aviators or something that you put on. And then eventually Elon's going to into the back of your head and just jack you into the matrix, and then all of this stuff is done.
Just a follow-up question. Sorry, because you're saying if it's already there, do we really need content creator in the sense of now developing on, I don't know, like the sandbox, the decentralized, you see a lot of people are using the pixels, putting a lot of effort in doing this. So will it not disappear according if you're saying that the technology is already there, so it's like overrun, no?
Yeah, what we need is for everybody to fail constantly. What we need are content developers, everybody just constantly fail. The point of entrepreneurship is to fail. Fail until it works. You know, so yes. Like, that's where like most jobs will disappear. Lawyers, we don't need them anymore. Content marketers, we don't need them anymore. I'll have Siri will do your job way better than you. It can play Go better than you, whatever years ago. Now it'll be able to think better than you, create better than you, paint better than you, everything better than you. Now what you gonna do? Now what are you gonna do? Now figure out ways to add value to people's lives. Not for money, but because you love it. Or create value. The creators are still going to live. So if you're creating models, you're creating systems, or you're bringing together existing systems to create a new way to add value to people's lives, that's pretty much the only thing. The creatives are going to be the only ones left. Because all these other menial jobs, we have better AI to do it.
We are horses.
We are the horses, yeah. And we just invented the Ferrari. Yeah, we didn't just invent a car, we invented the Ferrari. And it's becoming, every microsecond, it's becoming 1,000 times more capable every microsecond. It evolves and grows at a pace that is unfathomable to the human brain.
But to give you an answer about what you're asking, there's a company called MetaHero. So they're building a box that scans you like with thousands of scanners, like photo scanners. You go inside and it will scan your body and create your avatar, but you like directly. So now, like if you go in Decentraland, your avatar is ugly. It looks like a Wii gamers, but now with MetaHero, you can just scan yourself and be in the metaverse with your body, like with all the details. Even the small hairs of your feet will be there. There is also spatial.io. You can use your phone to scan your room and 3Ds and statues and objects around you, even art, as he was saying. So you scan the art and you have it inside your metaverse. It's free to use, spatial.io. So you can have gallery or any space, the size you want, and you scan anything you want with your phone, and you have it inside. So it's not more like pixels and stuff like Sandbox, which is not usable for people like us. We don't have, I don't know,
Yes.
for kids, let's say, for 18, 20 people. But now you have that with MetaHero and Spatial.io. So I think we are going to there like quickly. We're going to be there.
It's already there. It's being built out.
Google Maps has AR scan. So you basically scan the lens and then it show up, oh, okay, this is actually this.
Yeah, the system's already being built out. And things like Sandbox and Decentraland will simply be valuable because of the novelty of them being first. And to answer your question about Picasso and the Picasso being destroyed, first of all, when I buy the Picasso, I would want the physical Picasso because I want to hang it on my actual wall. And if it gets destroyed, my digital Picasso becomes even more valuable because it's the last verifiably owned copy of that thing left. So now that the physical, you know how like artists become more valuable when they die? Picasso will become more valuable. Picasso literally became more valuable once he died, right? So the painting will become more valuable once it dies, right? But the thing is, if I pay $100 million for Picasso, which is what's happened, I'm going to protect that thing with $100 million. Because actually, side note, art is used as a tax evasion mechanism and is built in. So the reason why Picasso is $100 million is I can buy it for $100,000, pump up the value of it to $100 million, and donate it to a museum, and then deduct $100 million from my taxes, and it cost me it cost me $100,000 to save $100 million in taxes. So that's why art is being pumped up the way it is. That's also one of the ways that money laundering is being used to pump into NFTs to create these fake value models. There's a lot going on behind the scenes of how it all works, right? Wait, I gotta go, bro. I gotta go. I got 30 minutes. I gotta go through the rest of this. You're in. We're gonna get you up here. We're gonna do a full Paul presentation. Please build it out. You're fucking great. So these new forms of money, that's what you need to understand. What value does it add? And first of all, when you invest in things, we invest with the thesis that I'm buying something before the world wakes up to the value. And once the world wakes up to the value, you get to give it to the world because you took the risk initially to buy this thing when the world didn't know that it was valuable. Okay? So today, you have 1,000 There's 20,000 cryptos out there. There's about 1,000 different projects, which will be the base layer of the future of the world. And because of that, you don't understand the value that you're holding. And if you invest from that space and you have a conceptualization of values and you meet a Paul who actually can explain it to you in a way that absorbs, then you may be able to participate and hold the future of this whole landscape. But there's a 90-something% chance that you're going to hold shit if you just do it yourself without learning, which means there's a 90-something% chance of, ask the question, man. You ask the best questions. Can we give him a mic again?
Thank you. It was also about bringing the real world inside the metaverse.
Yep.
So, we need to be able to interact with centralized systems because, in my opinion, nothing lies inside the extremities. In life, everything is equilibrium.
Yep.
Everything is balance. Nothing is black, nothing is white. We need to have balance. Fully decentralized system do not work. Because when you have a fully decentralized system, for example, you take Ethereum. Ethereum is a fully decentralized system. It is very well decentralized, but the problem with Ethereum and why they push the merge, like each time they say, oh, the merge is going to be this day, this merge is going to be this day, why it's pushed all the time, is because the developers cannot work together. It is too decentralized to be able to make effective work. So fully decentralized system has a lot of problems. And fully centralized system, as we see, have also a lot of problems. So the real revolution will be when we will find the equilibrium between centralized and decentralized systems. And in my opinion, to be able to take, for example, a piece of real estate and bring it into the metaverse, we will need to work with the states. We will need to work with the
governments
to be able to say, okay, we builders, we developers, we will bring value to you because if the notaries are not here, how are the countries going to make money with real estate? And they were going to say, no, real estate is not going to go on the blockchain.
Exactly.
Never, ever.
Exactly.
We're making so much money each time you
and it's like you're taking food out of the kids of the notaries' kids, food out of the mouth of the notaries' kids. We're not going to let you do that, and that's not what we're doing. So here's how we're doing it. We're marrying the best parts of centralization with the best parts of decentralization. The mine ownership is centralized. You do not get to make decisions on what the mine should do. What do you know about mining? What do I know about mining? You know, I'm part of the project. I'm one of the owners of some of the tokens in the project. Don't give me governance rights over a mine. What I think about how mining should be done is none of my business. You know, if anything, I would support your model because you said the centralized structure is going to mine in a certain way that aligns with me, therefore it's good. But at that point, I should not be given a DAO access, decentralized autonomous organization access to that thing, right? So what we're doing is the mine ownership stays with the miners. The miner's mine, that's centralized. The decentralization part is giving access to anybody to gain the prosperity of mining. So now Ketut can feed his kids, or Made, depending on which number he is, will be able to gain access to that prosperity without being able to mess with the system. And please watch our cycles talk, historical cycles talk that we've done before that define these cycles, the centralization, decentralization cycle, the historical cycles, the financial cycles, the hundreds of cycles, but we talked about dozens of them. Between now and 70 years from now is this transition from this centralized power structures where there's this battle between the centralized power structures and governments and stuff and the people who are trying to decentralize, right? So we have to marry them for now. Our kids will decentralization will start to become de facto and it will start to work more. Our grandkids will be the ones that build the world which is much, much, much more decentralized, almost completely decentralized. Because by then, the decentralized systems will be matured enough to a point where they will be able to serve these functionalities. So yes, figure out ways to marry the best parts of central. So that's why what we did is we went, okay, we have the system. We brought it to the Indonesian government. We said, hey, we have a way to bring money into the country without anybody ever being able to take your assets from you. And that's a national defense issue. China taking the mines of Indonesia is a national defense issue. So we're like, okay, we will show you how to do this in this way. Notary, we have some friends who are doing this. What they're doing is they're partnering with the notaries. They're partnering with the middlemen to make it like, we're not going to come to Indonesia and say, we're Bule, we know a better system. We're going to kick you all out of the system. It's like you're doing the same capital colonialism bullshit that's caused all these problems in the first place. What we need to do is go in with reverence and ask, how does this work? How can we put more food into your kids' mouths while bringing more money into the country, while facilitating a pipeline of foreign capital to be able to be deployed within Indonesia in a way that's conducive to the government, conducive to the notaries, conducive to the existing system. Right now, we do that. Later on, it will slowly develop to a point where the notary system itself will slowly transition into a different way of doing it. And then when the notary job disappears, notaries will have something else to do to be creative. But that will develop years and decades down the road. But yes, that's an amazing point, right?
Absolutely. I will say a last thing.
Keep going.
Is that, in my opinion, like the metaverse is great. Blockchain technology is great. This is wonderful. Like really, if you go deeply into blockchain, into metaverse, into what we can build with this technology, everybody will be mind blown. Like there's very few people that truly understand how blockchain works, and I cannot say that I truly understand it fully, but I really tried my best to learn it and to delve deeply inside it, and it's really wonderful. But in my opinion, we shouldn't forget that we live in the real world, and that the ultimate goal is making the real world a wonderful place to live in. Because with the metaverse, what we're missing is that we're trying to, because we're destroying the planet, and because we're making the planet a bad place to live in, we're trying to make a better place to live in online.
We're literally trying to go to Mars.
Absolutely. This is what
We're
we're
like,
trying to do.
we fucked this thing up,
Elon
let's
Musk-
go fuck Mars up, Yeah.
And this is a problem. We need to shift.
Because that's what we do. Because that's what we do. That's what we do. We consume, we eat, we destroy, and turn it into shit, and we shit it on the ground.
So
That's literally what we do. We're literally full of shit from here to here. We're mostly full of shit. And this is on the spiritual level, on the emotional level, on the physical level. Now here's the thing. Your shit is fertilizer. Your shit is fertilizer. It's one of the best fertilizers out there. It doesn't smell very good, but it makes great compost, right? So it's our job now to not let shit be shit. It's to take the shit and turn it into value. I know a guy, a good friend, he walked out of Goldman Sachs. He was getting paid a bunch of money at Goldman Sachs. He was like, fuck this is not what I want to do things. Walks out of Goldman Sachs, Goldman sues him, pays him some $1 million, keeps the rest of it, flies out to an island he's never been to before, walks onto a barren piece of land on the island, walks up to the village and goes, let me show you 10 revenue streams that are sitting right in front of you, on the land that these people have been on for thousands of years. And he figured out, he literally helped them plant coconut trees in this barren land that were working. He put the plants down, turned around to a bank, leveraged the coconut trees for $150 per coconut tree, got a massive loan from a World Bank, from a global bank, probably Goldman or one of their friends, and brought that money, gave it to the people. They started building coconuts. Now you can take coconuts and turn them into certain planks. You can turn it into certain MDF type boards. You can take the leaves that fall off of the coconuts, turn it into little pellets, sell them for carbon credits, and like 6 other things. When he told me these things, I was like, what? This is insane. He walks into a coffee plantation and sees like, the ground is littered with cherries, which are garbage to them. And he goes, can you gather these up, put it into a bag, give it to me. Pays them to do it, takes it, cooks it into a tea, and the tea turns out to be like 100 times better. It has way more antioxidants, tastes way more delicious, way more nutrient balanced than traditional coffee, has the benefits of coffee with many, many other benefits added to it. This guy just has the vision, and he comes from Goldman. He understands how the world runs. And he came down to the ground and went, let me show you how the world runs. Let me show you 1,000 ways to be able to add value to people's lives. And he did it without blockchain, completely. He did it with banking. You know what I mean? So that's all we need. We need visionaries. Please.
You wanted to say something?
Yeah, but
Yeah, please. I still got to go through Web3, ladies and gentlemen, and then we gotta fly to Ubud to go do this stuff. Please, let her ask the question.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Cristina. Thank you so much for all the knowledge that you're sharing today. What I want to add to this session is that I think the most important thing that we could do at this moment is to fully understand and educate ourselves, to understand what is blockchain, what is Web3 and so on. So thanks to you, we can educate ourselves. Second, we cannot change the world from one day to another. But what we can do is once we know what are our strengths, what we are good at, what we like, we can change our community.
Yes.
So we can start changing what is around us. And with that, we can start changing the world. So for example, I am from Ecuador, and I love education. I have been living in New York, Los Angeles, Dubai, now I'm here. So I am learning about blockchain, so now I have a project to educate people, to help people to share their skills in the blockchain, so they can have a better living and they can live doing what they love. So thanks to the blockchain, this is possible. And of course, I know it's a lot of work, but finally I found something that I could do to add value to the society. And I love traveling as well, so I can be traveling, I can be helping people to find the skill that they would like to share with the world and to monetize that. So I think everyone can do that within their own community, within their own skills, and within their own passion. Thank you.
Another visionary, welcome. Welcome, another change maker, another one who's creating some real value into people's lives. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for seeing it. And to answer, sorry, one thing I want to add to that is if you want to learn more about all of this stuff, please join our Sims beginner group. We have a list of videos that we posted. For the last 2 years, we've been teaching about all this stuff. Please go to excellenceconsulting.co. There's videos literally posted on there. We'll post it on here. And we're also now we're redoing the crypto investment strategy series in Ubud, which we're going to post again with the full strategy on exactly that, how to understand and have a plan to enter this space. So thank you. We're all just playing our part in this beautiful mission. And then the earth does not need saving. You're not saving shit. Save yourself. Okay? That's enough. You save yourself, you're saving the universe. Then save the person to your right. Help the person to your right, and help the person to your left, which is exactly what you said. I love that. Thank you. Welcome.
Just 2 cents. I love the idea of people making a living by doing what they like, which is teaching and sharing their knowledge. In whatever you're going to develop, think, learn to earn. Make sure that the people who are going to take the courses, take the classes, not only they gain knowledge, but they make money with it. There's a way.
Yes,
There's
that's
a way.
why I love blockchain.
Exactly. Blockchain allows you to pay for everything. You should be paid for everything. The value you're adding to the world, you should be paid for it. And then you help 1,000 other people, add value to 1,000,000 other people, who add a value to 100 whatever million other people. Great, you should be paid for it. The 1,000 people should be paid for it. The 100 million people should be paid for it. Let's just pay everybody for doing good stuff. And if you're somebody who's like, nah, I'm here to consume. Bye-bye. If you're a taker, this world is not for you anymore. This world is for the givers. And the givers shall receive. And the meek shall inherit the earth. Boom. Read that book. All right. So what's Web3? It's nothing. Web3 is nothing. We just like to coin things. Web3. It's like, yeah, it's just this, what we just talked about. Web3 is where you will own parts of the internet. Instead of you adding value to Facebook and Facebook taking all the value, you will gain back the value that you add into the world. That's what Web3 is. You will be able to own the pieces of the internet. That's what we're doing right now. Web3 is same thing, decentralized computers. A bunch of computers hooked up in this new way, which are not controlled by centralized entities. And take that with a grain of salt. Those centralized entities always own stuff. Ethereum is owned by BlackRock, owned by JP Morgan. MetaMask is owned by JP Morgan. And for us to try to resist them is kind of stupid. It's like, bro, they built this whole world. They built metal tubes to fly us here like magic. They built God to sit in your fingers. Okay? Don't resist. How about you try to use it's Aikido. Don't box. You try to box with those fists, they will punch through your head. Aikido. They send energy and force your way, you turn it around, and you send it back. And that is what we're doing here, okay? And it's also, Web3 is more and more this decentralized governance idea, that decision making can be made by people wherever it's conducive. Somewhere, some places it's dumb. Like, there was a DAO that had like $2 million or something inside of it, and they gave access to everybody to make decisions. And the people promptly took all the money and gave it to a lady who lost a dog or something. Lady lost a dog, and everybody's like, oh, she lost a dog. Like, this is so bad, let's give her the millions of dollars. And the millions of dollars were handed to her. Like, it didn't work. But decentralized governance is also a piece of Web3. It's going to be based on public good technologies. The idea of public good technologies is really important, because just the same way the internet is a public good, and HTTP is a public good, and partially banking systems are public goods. Same way, Ethereum is a public good, Ripple will become a public good, XRP will become a public good. Many of these things will become public goods, and they will be given to us. If you're a creative, if you're a builder, all the resources are there. You need money, we'll get you money. You need a place to live, we'll get you 1,000 of those. You need food, you need water, you need security, you need love, you need connection, you need support, you need everything, we will give it to you. It's all available, but it's going to be in this decentralized value model and based on public goods. Web3 is AI manifested. AI is going to be a huge part of Web3 that we need to understand and appreciate and not resist. It's already here. It is the transcendence of human knowledge. It is also a new way of connecting with knowledge and experiencing knowledge. And then it's going to be ubiquitous. Like right now, the internet's like Wi-Fi. Oh man, the signal didn't come through. No, it's going to be like every single inch of the earth will be able to access the system, and these systems will be live on every single place on the earth. And yes, it's going to be 5G, and whatever your feelings are about that can be your own thing, but it's this new world. But what it actually is a new way of thinking. It's a new way of thinking. It's a new way of thinking. It's a new way of us to conceptualize what the world is, what value is, how it's transferred, how it's used, who it feeds, how it feeds them, and how we build in the future of the internet. Oh, great, we got 9 more minutes. We got 9 minutes of questions. Paul? No, so wait, July 25th, right? 29th. July 29th, what time? Please, so July 29th at 5 p.m., Paul's going to be presenting. What are you going to be presenting?
I'm going to be presenting Understanding Blockchain and Crypto Investing.
Fantastic. So please join our community. We will share you in our community. You're perfect for this. The language you speak is the language that we need to be. We need to have as many resonators of that language as we can to go from the value up, not from the money down. Okay? 100%.
Yes. So just to talk about my presentation, just 1 second. In my opinion, the world that we are entering in will be revolutionized by Web3. Will be revolutionized, like Web2 doesn't mean anything, but by blockchain. And blockchain is a complex subject. It's very deep, it's very broad, it's a very complex subject. But we are the builders. We are so early. If we understand fully and truly what blockchain is and why it has been created and what value it can bring to the people, we will be able to become the builders of tomorrow. Because if we, for example, you take a painter, if a painter doesn't know how his tools work, he's not going to be able to do a painting because he just doesn't understand his tools. So if you want to be a builder of tomorrow, and tomorrow will be revolutionized by blockchain, if you want to build on the blockchain, you need to understand the blockchain, why it has been created, how it works, and what benefits it brings. So this is what I will try to explain to the people, and this is, in my opinion, how in the future we will be able to really bring value. So firstly, by educating, and secondly, in my opinion, when you really understand the concept of blockchain and what value it brings, you can effectively do research, and this research will enable you to make the right decisions to be able to become a good crypto investor. Because if you really understand what value proposition the crypto projects bring in the world and what value they will add to the people's lives, you will be able to use your money to fund these incredible projects that are bringing value in the world with blockchain. And it's like just a virtuous cycle. If you bring value into people's lives, you will make a lot of money. So for example, you take a project X. If it brings a lot of value and you buy the coin low, the coin will skyrocket because the value has been brought in the world. So in my opinion, understand blockchain, understand how it works, why it adds value, and make the right research, and you will become a lot better crypto investor.
And just sleep better knowing that you improve people's lives. Because sleep is what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. And just be happy and give love everywhere. So
exactly.
This will be the topic.
Just shoot love from your heart chakra. Like, just flood people with love. They're like, what's wrong with this person? And you say, I'm just in love with you. Okay? But this is a really important point. If you're listening to this and you're like, I don't have time to go like sit and figure out blockchain. What he's actually saying, or at least my interpretation of what he's actually saying is, you don't need to understand exactly how this works, but you need to know how to use it, right? Nobody understands how this works. It took me years of research to figure out every single piece, to try to figure out how this thing actually functions and creates the magic. But you don't need to go down that rabbit hole unless you're crazy. You just need to know how this thing is useful and how you can use it as a tool to add value to people's lives. The same thing is for blockchain. If you're somebody who's like, I'm done, because I work with like baby boomers. And the thing that gets resonated all the time is like, I'm done, okay? I've done my duty. I've done my tour of the world. I've spent 70 years of my life adding value to people's lives. Now you youngins take it over, but just show us where we can add the value. Show us how it is that we can contribute into this ecosystem. If that's you, great. Just learn how to add value in that and hand it to people smarter than you. And they will, exactly. Rob is one of our fam. So, you just learn how to do it like that. If you're a builder and you learn to build, okay, then learn the system enough so you can build on it in your own way. I know how to code and program, but man, I would like gouge my own eyes out if I have to sit down and program. So I come up with the systems. I bring the governments together, I bring the resources, I bring Silicon Valley, I bring the money and the physical systems and the regulatory structures, tie it all together into a bundle, hand it to people smarter than me, and the people build it out. And if you're somebody who's a coder, if you're looking for a skill, if you learn programming, it will change your life. Once you understand programming, you understand logic. Once you understand logic, you understand the logic of how the universe works, so you can actually code reality accordingly. The other thing that's happening is, if you're listening to this, you probably won't think like this, but if you're listening to this, you're like, nah, I'm good. You're not. Because all of your money is being taken from you. The money is flowing out of stocks. The money is flowing out of, debt instruments. The money is flowing out of the central banks. The money is literally flowing out of your bank into the pockets of kids who know how to do this shit. That's why the kids are becoming billionaires in 40 seconds. Literally a kid, I think he was under 18 when it happened, made more money in one pump of a dog-eared coin called Shiba Inu than it takes 2,200 years of investing in the stock market. Warren Buffett would have taken 2,200 years to make that much money. This kid went, boom, mom, jets. Where did that money come from? You know where it came from? Buffett's pocket. And if you're playing Buffett's game, we're taking your money. We're taking your money. You think your $1 million in the bank is worth $1 million? Nah. They printed 40% in the last 2 years, so now you have $600,000. The good thing is there's a sovereign wealth fund with hundreds of billions of dollars, and they just lost 40% of the hundreds of billions of dollars. So they're like, build this world. Just develop the regulatory structures, and we are going to flood our value into the system. Because the world is going to fracture into two banking systems. One is going to be the currency-based banking system that we have today. That's going to be based on central bank digital currencies. We've done talks about this. We'll do more. Please go back and watch those for details. And the other side is the asset-based system. It's going to be mostly digital assets, but it's the asset-based system. The wealthy will own the assets. The plebs will own the digital currencies. Digital currencies will hyperinflate forever. They will keep inflating them, so you will never be able to accrue value. And if you think numbers in your bank make you wealthy, you will soon realize $100,000 becomes 100,000 rupiah, like that, okay? And that like that is like 10 years. By 15 years, like in Weimar Republic, Germany, single-digit dollars bought gold, then double-digit dollars bought gold. And within years, this is from 1914 to 1924, within 10 years, at the end of the 10 years, 1 trillion Deutsche Marks bought the same piece of gold, and then people just gave up on that Deutsche Mark. Okay, that's exactly what's going on today. So you either get with it, or you're gonna get left behind, you're gonna get demolished. And if you think like real estate and all these reliable things that we've looked like, owning a business in Bali was like just the best value proposition until the world went, and then it became the worst value proposition you could have. You became indebted and screwed, and you took a massive amount of risk. That shift in the world is happening so quick that you either get with it and knowledgeable, or it will eat you alive. And sadly, most people are gonna get eaten alive, because right now we're so early that we can participate. On the other side of the tether collapse, and the other side of a few more lunas happening, is a regulatory framework that makes it more difficult for people to participate in this space. And they're building it. It's called MiCA. It's called FATF regulations. It's called stablecoin regulations in the US, right? They're going to build a system to try to implement the same kind of blocks to try to keep people from doing it. And along the way somewhere, they're going to bank bail in all the money from the banks. So they're going to steal all the money from your banks like they did in the 1930s, where they took all the gold out of the banks and told you to go fuck off, and told you it's illegal for you to own gold and you got to bring it into us, otherwise we'll come with a gun to your house and take it from you. Same thing's about to happen again. So the money will be taken, and then on the other side, you know what will happen? Enlightenment. You know what happens when I take all your money? You get hella enlightened, bro. Because your feet then hit the ground and you go, I appreciate this. I appreciate this. Okay, so that's where we're gonna leave it. Welcome to the metaverse. Hopefully we scared the shit out of you, and hopefully some of it's inspiring. Much love. Again, join the group, follow our talks. Paul will get you on all the stages, bro. We got stages for you. Okay, we got stages here, we got stages there, we got stages in front of the government, we got stages in front of businesses and change makers, and we got everything for you. We got everything for you. Just welcome. Yeah, I can see your field of potential and you're realizing it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everyone be like Paul. Appreciate you all.